ranking every Call of Duty Zombies from worst to best. The community is always very vocal when content creators rank anything COD related, so I thought to myself, why not have the community do the ranking instead? With that in mind, I made a Call of Duty Zombies tournament where I made 15 polls where each one had 2 COD Zombies face off to have a winner, and these polls ended up having over 250,000 votes. This means the sample size is large enough to make this video accurate to the entire community's feelings about zombies. And with all the results compiled together, this is every Call of Duty Zombies ranked from worst to best. 10th, Vanguard, a game made by Sledgehammer, but the zombies was actually made by Treyarch. When it was announced that the studio that created the mode was making zombies, the expectations skyrocketed and boosted short-term sales. But what they didn't say was that this mode got dumped on Treyarch last minute and they fumbled the ball right out of the gate, with Diran Fong being the worst reviewed launch map in zombies history. And the second one wasn't any better and pretty much completely killed the mode, and is why this was ranked as the worst zombies in the polls. After the first 2 maps bombed, the devs went on a 2.5 season hiatus to bring us the next zombies content, where they gave us the round-based map Shino Numa remade, and it was actually fun with a good Easter egg. I think this map was better than anything we got in the 9th place game, but I understand why Vanguard was voted 10th with the lack of content and terrible start. 9th, Advanced Warfare Exo Zombies. We didn't get to experience this zombies mode until the first DLC of the game, so you actually had to spend a minimum of $75 to play just one zombies map, and it was the second lowest rated experience by the community. That's rough. I will say, it was fun right at first, but people quickly realized that it wasn't up to the standards that were set by Treyarch Zombies. Something just felt off with this one. The exosuits were typically obtainable by about round 7, which is when the zombies would also start to jump around with you. The movement didn't feel very smooth, and with the exosuits, it made it impossible to consistently train zombies effectively. And EMZ boss zombies were so annoying. And if you don't remember what they did, they disabled your exosuit and made it electricity shoot across your screen, so you're basically blind and can't move. The Easter eggs weren't great and just had us playing fetch. Pack-a-punching weapons was way more expensive and didn't buff the weapons nearly as much. And the wonder weapons were very weak in my opinion, and the maps felt pretty uninspired. Exo Zombies felt like an empty experience. 8th, World War II. The scariest looking zombies in all of Call of Duty. This one had some cool things and contracts that allowed you to earn salvage, which you could use to unlock weapon blueprints and characters you could use inside the zombies game mode. The Pack-a-Punch was cool because it made different weapons get different abilities, making them feel unique. But it did get 8th place, so there was obviously plenty of problems with World War II zombies. I was not a fan of the tortured path maps at all. I thought they were some of the worst experiences in all of Call of Duty Zombies history. And the next thing, I feel like all the maps from World War II just blended together because the music and map aesthetics were all far too similar, which made the game feel more repetitive and less fun after a little bit of time that the salvage system couldn't save. The Easter eggs weren't very good, the boss zombies had cool designs, but were annoying with how frequently they would come into the map, and overall, World War II had some promising elements, but wasn't executed as well as it could have been. Which community tournament would you like to see next? Make sure to vote on the poll that is live now to determine the next community tournament that I make. 7th, Black Ops 4. We are at the point where I think all of the games are good, just at varying levels. I do not know how this one got ranked so lowly. Personally, I would definitely move this one up a couple spots. This mode was full of content, had a huge amount of maps, and every single map was complete with full Easter egg quests, side Easter eggs, hidden ciphers, and unique buildables. The game isn't perfect, of course. For one, the UI is all over your screen and just far too big, and I really think that could have been an easy fix for them to adjust that, but they never did. And one thing that I loved about Black Ops 4 was the locations of all the maps and soundtracks. 9 is set in a Coliseum. Voyage of Despair wasn't a good map, but being set on the Titanic was sick. Dead of Night had an incredible ambiance. Ancient Evil had a great soundtrack. We got remade maps where they actually made some changes, with Classified being an improvement on 5, Alpha Omega being an improvement over the Nuketown zombies, and then Blood of the Dead, which of course was a downgrade from Mob, and then Tag Your Toten was solid, but they butchered the Wonderwaff. And what they did so well is that they made every single map feel unique, which kept the game feeling fresh with loads of complete content. Black Ops 4 may have been voted lower because it isn't a great zombies for going for high rounds and has more complicated Easter eggs. It is not catered catered towards casual players and more for the hardcore fans. Since probably 95% of the zombies player base is casual, it did not help the game become left. I would consider myself part of the casual zombies community, but I still enjoy doing Easter eggs, but sometimes you just want to sit back and play some zombies without thinking. These videos take a lot of work to make as a one-man crew, so please leave a like and comment if you're enjoying it. And make sure to subscribe for more Call of Duty polls and rankings, as well as helpful and entertaining Warzone content. Sixth, Infinite Warfare. This is the highest rated non-Treyarch zombies on the list, and I thought it should have been a little bit higher, just like Black Ops 4. Zombies in Spaceland is easily a top 10 map in zombies history, and Raven the Redwoods was such a cool setting. Shaolin Shuffle was also really good. However, the last couple maps weren't great because they had less content in them, but that shouldn't take away from the first few maps that range from good to an all-time great. We also got to use weapon variants, which would allow you to use weapons with a few different abilities depending on which one you got. This was a cool way to incorporate multiplayer into the zombies experience, and this mode was obviously not as serious as Treyarch Zombies with their incredible storyline, but that allowed it to have its own unique feeling to separate itself from Treyarch. The map setting were really cool because they were actually based off movie settings, and overall I thought Infinite Warfare Zombies was fantastic. Fifth, World at War, the game that started it all and created zombies. This game made the stepping stones to what we know today. Each map added something new that we would come to expect on every single zombies map in the future. Notcher Toten gave us the mystery box, Varuk gave us perks and traps, Shino Numa gave us the Aether storyline characters with Dempsey, Nikolai, Takio, and Richtofen, and it also introduced the Hellhounds, and Darius gave us the Pack-a-Punch machine and monkey bombs. This is arguably the best zombies to go for high rounds in because you can reach them much faster than other games. While we couldn't have had any zombies if it wasn't for World at War, I think this placement is a bit high because people are either nostalgic or giving it a bunch of extra credit for making the mode, which it definitely deserves a little bit. But after playing later installments, it is easy to see the limitations of this game. The movement is much clunkier, there are no big Easter eggs to go for. The game is very simple, and the only thing to do is shoot zombies and train while trying to survive as long as possible. Simplicity can be a good thing, but I wish there was just a little bit more to World at War Zombies. Fourth, Cold War. This is almost like the anti-Black Ops 4. This one had the best mechanics in any zombies mode ever. Then where Black Ops 4 had incredible map locations and a few of them were really great, along with fantastic soundtracks, Cold War felt very lacking and uninspired in comparison. And where Black Ops 4 was made for the hardcore fans, Cold War felt like it was made exclusively for the casuals. I felt like the Easter eggs and going for high rounds were far too easy in this game, and I love the weapon rarities because it gives the game so much more variety in what we can use. The game also feels smooth. Outbreak added some even more variety to Cold War Zombies, but I didn't think the mode had nearly as much replayability as regular round-based zombies, and Treyarch spent a bunch of their development time on Outbreak, and so while I liked Cold War, I personally wouldn't have ranked it quite this high. As I'm recording this, Justin Herbert just got a huge extension as I'm making this video, and since I'm a Chargers fan, I'm super hyped. Let me know if you are too in the comments. Third, Black Ops 1, the zombies that truly fleshed this out into a full-fledged mode. It continued the Aether storyline that was started on Darius, the final World at War map. And speaking of that story, I think Moon had the best Easter egg of all time and concluded the story in Black Ops 1 beautifully, creating a bunch of excitement for the future of zombies. And it added a bunch of perks such as PhD Flopper, Stamina Up, and Mule Kick. They had a bunch of wonder weapons with the most iconic one being the Thunder Gun. And this is another game where I love the different settings we got from map to map. We got Shangri-La to Call the Dead to Moon, making each map feel totally different to one another. And they brought back the World at War maps as well, and then they added the first installment of Dead Ops Arcade, which I thought was a blast to play every now and again. Black Ops 1 just feels like World at War Plus. They added a bit more, made it a bit harder, while still being fairly simplistic. Second, Black Ops 2. A game that started off very controversial in the zombies community with many players hating Transit and Die Rise that turned every player into Tim the Tatman by instantly falling to their death with no chance of being revived if a zombie touched you as you tried to jump across the buildings. But the Sliquifire was a great wonder weapon. And for Transit, I actually thought it was a blast to play if you could play with a full squad of friends. And Transit is one of those what-if maps because it could have been so good if we had more advanced technology at the time of release. The reason we got the fog and the denizens and the lava were specifically to slow down the players so the map would run more smoothly and load properly. Treyarch was just a bit too ambitious with their design. But then we have two all-time great maps with Origins and my personal favorite Mob of the Dead, and a really good one with Buried. And we even got other solid maps with Nuketown and Town, the best part from Transit. And on top of these maps, the wonder weapons were great with the Paralyzer on Buried, the Origin staffs, and then we got the Ray Gun Mark II, and of course the aforementioned Sloco Fire. And Black Ops 2 also introduced another really cool thing in buildables, which Treyarch continued to have in future installments of Zombies. The only true negative of this game was the worst perk of all time, Who's Who. The best, Black Ops 3. This should come as a shock to no one. The setting of these Zombies maps were incredible, the soundtrack was great, and they gave us the best selection of maps ever. On top of all the great original content, we also got all the remade maps. We had great Easter eggs, and I especially love the one on Der Eisendrache. Also, I love the bows. And Shadows of Evil could be the best launch map of all time, and it has the incredible wonder weapon, the Apothicon Servant. Black Ops 3 also introduced custom classes for zombies and unlocking zombie-specific camos, allowing for not just multiplayer fans to be able to grind for camos. I think BO3 blows every other Zombies out of the water with just its original map quality. However, we also got the Zombie Chronicles like I mentioned earlier, but wait, there's more. They also gave us custom zombies with mod tools on PC, and while I unfortunately have never played a custom zombies map because I've only played Black Ops 3 on Xbox, we still have to appreciate this incredible feature that allowed the community to have unlimited number of community-made maps that allows this game to live on forever. And while I didn't agree with the entire list you guys made, I do agree with Black Ops 3 being on top. If you could make one change to the community rankings, what would it be? And thank you for voting on the polls, liking the video, and subscribing. You guys are all legends, and make sure to check out the Every Call of Duty series on screen here.